Thanks, Jen, and thanks, Lauren, for driving the machine. That wasn't ever going to be my strength. Thank you to RDA, Local Jobs, Employ Toowoomba and Oaks for hosting. I feel very privileged to be here today, and hopefully what I speak about will provide value in some sense, whether it's an education piece around who we are as manufacturers in the local region, but also maybe what pathways there are for young people or other cohorts in your life who are job seekers or seeking change in their employment. I've done my homework for the postcard, and my feedback to a 15-year-old self would be ambitious, be brave, and be passionate. I think there are three key levers in my life that I wish I had pulled earlier. They've been massive for me. It's probably a bit, Instagram-y in its advice, but I find it to be completely relevant every day of my life now. To give you some understanding as to who I am. Sorry, I'm just going to pitch this under here, and I'm also going to play with my glasses a bit because I got new progressive lenses and I don't know how to drive them yet, so I may or may not be able to see what I've written down. My journey: I am a successful university dropout. I finished high school and I got into uni to study biomechanics, and about week 4 I went, it's a drag, I'm out. I didn't feel that was my pathway. I didn't feel challenged. I didn't feel like I was going to learn anything, catalytic in that first stage of my life, and I wanted to grow and learn about myself as an individual. So I dropped out of uni, much to my parents' disappointment, and I joined the Defence Force, the Navy to be specific, and I worked alongside some incredible people in electronic warfare and combat systems. I served in the Persian Gulf over multiple deployments and Solomons and Timor, and I also was part of boarding parties in those spaces, as well as the Tampa and Operation Relax moments. So learning a lot about myself in that space, and also what value I brought to team environments and to opportunities to lead and for others to lead around me. After my service, 10 years, I moved to Toowoomba. I used to come here as a kid. I've got an aunt and uncle who live up here, always loved it. And I've got 4 children, and my husband and I started JRS because we had a desire to bring in the next generation of manufacturing. He's a boilermaker by trade, dropped out of school grade 10, I think he finished grade 10. I'm going to say that he did. Might not be true. And his common thread is, I'm just a boilermaker with a grade 10 education, and he says it slow like that as well, I might point out. There are people in this room who can attest to that, and but in that we've actually created a great business, and we're bringing more opportunities to the Darling Downs, and I'm just a veteran, he's just a boilermaker. It just goes to show that your pathway doesn't have to be linear. There are many ways around life and into new opportunities. So I'm an owner at JRS Manufacturing Group, and I'm also the founder of JRS Aerospace Group, JRS Skills Academy, JRS Coatings Group, and the manufacturing group itself. So I've achieved something. I'm not done yet, and I plan on doing much more for manufacturing. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about who we are as a business, so you know who we are, and then also the initiatives that we have around engagement and so on. Our channels to market, how we're looking at resourcing our workforce, and what value that brings, and potentially some growth opportunities on the back of that. Trudy's presentation earlier, I was presented with those numbers last week at an industry meeting, and I was shocked to understand that youth is actually 15 to 24. It's such a massive window of young people who are unemployed and seeking opportunity. And also in that, I sort of thought about ideas in which we could access different cohorts of people who are seeking jobs, and what those cohorts are. Toowoomba, or the region, Desbert, have an incredible program that's getting ready for work. It's a 5-month program, but I have a great belief in that particularly if you come from a background or a cohort, as we call them, that has witnessed many challenges and is coming back from perhaps some huge setbacks, that 5 months maybe isn't enough. And in my business, and as a business owner, I want to be able to have an engagement person, someone who sits in a chair every day and ensures that those people who have come from those perhaps really difficult scenarios and difficult journeys remain engaged and remain valued. And I can walk around with a cup of tea in the morning and distract the living daylights out of everyone and pat them on the back and ask them how they are. But my level of engagement and my sophistication on that engagement and how I've been educated to engage is very different from someone who comes from that social learning background and ensuring that people's welfare is okay. So my solution, or a version of a solution from a business perspective, because that's what lens I quite often look through, is that and how to spend the government's money in the best way possible, because we're always looking for value in that piece, is to have someone funded, qualified, who comes and lives and breathes my business, the values and the philosophy that we have, and is a full-time engagement piece for those cohorts who perhaps maybe haven't had access to opportunities or are limited in their access, and they continue to be valued in that space on a daily basis until they grow with the confidence to meet the new challenges in their employment, and they can stand strongly on their own 2 feet as a valuable person in our society. So a solution there. I can't stay for the session this afternoon because I've got to get back. We've got a whole company meeting, but I think there's a real opportunity to take initiatives like that and many, many others and create some real value. So going on from here, who are we at JRS? So we're a next generation steel manufacturer. That's how we view ourselves. It's not sexy, but we're trying to flip that a little bit and make it sexy. We work in many markets: METS, oil and gas, civil and construction, energy, environment, defence, and aerospace. We promote unending evolution, and that's for our people, for our customers, and for our future. I'm going to try and whiz through this stuff because I don't want to sales pitch JRS to you. I'm sure that everyone needs a trailer fixed, but I might not have the capability to do that. What services we have? So we're pressure pipe fabrication, welding, hydrostatic testing, specified abrasive blasting and coating, and that's across industrial, aerospace, and specialised coatings, and we're actually the first in the region to offer all of that. Medium to heavy plate fabrication, so that's our basic, steel manufacturing, welding and fabrication services. Specialised surface treatments, so that's an electroplating service. Electroplating is the basic term for it, but special processing, and that's to focus on aerospace markets, and we'll be the first in the region and the first in Queensland to be able to do that here. CNC and general machining, project management, welding, compliance. We've got export partnerships, and we offer assembly. And we do that from here in Toowoomba, and also we're now building a greenfield site out at Wellcamp in the aerospace precinct. Why do customers come to us? We offer long-term manufacturing partnerships. So we're not a job shop. We are a long-term investment in our customers, and the customer has a long-term investment in us. We create security, strategic alignment, and dynamic problem solving. We're a design-led thinking company, and that is across everyone from the apprentice to the CEO. Everyone is innovating constantly, whether it's a human-centered piece or an operational piece for a customer. And our why. So why are we doing it? We're a team, like I said, through the driver of design-led thinking and continual improvement. We want to create an agile, resilient, innovative and quality manufacturing solutions for our customers, and doing that on an ongoing basis long term, and that's for the success of our partners. We always joke at JRS that we actually wear like customer shirts underneath our JRS shirts. That's how embedded we are in those organisations. We sit at strategic tables. We have big conversations about where their journeys are and what their trajectory is, to understand more deeply the products and how we might deliver those to market the best. And the JRS human. Who is a JRS human? They're courageous, ambitious, challenge-seeking individuals. They're proud of their capabilities and their craft. For too long, I've heard the words, finish school at grade 10, go be a tradesperson, you're not uni material. And I'd like to think that we would put more value on trades than that. These people are incredibly good at what they do, and they are so proud of that. And it's amazing to be a part of. And once you sort of start to give that value to them and say, be proud. You look at what you're building, look at the products that go out, look at what they're doing and they're innovating. And they start to see that value themselves, and that creates a greater position for them as a human as they go through, come to work every day, enjoy what they do, go home, talk to their families about it. They're the next generation of humans partnering with the legacy generation, and that's our old school manufacturers, the Boilermakers of 30 years, getting them to start to communicate and understand what the new generation, the next generation wants and needs from their employment, from their journey, and having those conversations together and breaking down the barriers between what we saw, the 4 or 5, well, almost 5 generations that we have inside business now. We've got to learn to communicate to each other. We've got to understand all the values that exist there. How do we bring that together and create something amazing out of it? We're doing that every day at JRS. Where do we see value? Time, recognition, engagement, empowerment, flexibility, variety, and opportunity. They are collaborative problem solvers, and this side in particular has been built off collaboration. It's consultation with our people, understanding what they need, understanding what the next generation needs from their employment journey, whether that's with JRS or whether that's on a pathway beyond us. So through that engagement and consultation, we launched the JRS Skills Academy. So the Skills Academy was born out of a strategic conversation that was around, we need a workforce. We've got an enormous amount of growth, and we're going to have a workforce to do it. It is an academy that supports the skilling base that we initially required, and that is Boilermakers, Cert 3 in engineering, with that, with the Boilermaker focus. We have a really highly skilled workforce, and quite often when we employ new people, we have to work for them. Even if they are qualified tradespeople, they've got to be with us for 6 to 8 months before their skill level floats to the point it needs to be at to deliver a JRS product, and that is because the demand on what we do and the quality at which it's delivered, it has a certain niche. There are certain customers that want that, and when we work to that standard. So it is a challenge, and we quite often say when we're interviewing or offering positions, look, you're not there yet, but we will get you there. We will mentor, we will work, we will coach with you to get you to the point where you're able to deliver to the standard that's required. Skills Academy offers real information. It is a source of truth, and I think that's something that in today's day and age, where we're constantly looking at media non-truths, we've got every single interface in front of us. We wanted to create a platform that anyone could go to, whether that was a school leaver, a job seeker, a parent, a carer, to understand what the realities were behind a trade apprenticeship or a position at JRS, and who were, what it meant to come through the Skills Academy. Quite often there's misinformation that travels around about what the opportunities are and what they look like and who you can work for, and the journey that lies beyond. So the Skills Academy, the start point for that, other than a workforce plan, was to create this source of truth that people could come to. We could break down myths around what working in industry looked like, and the work that you do, how much you get paid, the types of markets that you would work in, the types of companies that you were able to be employed by, and what the journey looked like from there. So everyone could create a future plan for themselves. And signing up for an apprenticeship, no different to signing up for a degree. It's a massive commitment. It's 4 years. How do we get people to make the most informed decision that they can before making that commitment? Because the likelihood is, if they're fully informed and they understand the role and what the industry looks like more broadly, they'll stay with the apprenticeship, and they'll also go on and do great things out inside industry. So a massive important piece there. So you can see there we've got a bit of a write-up. Boilermakers, fully qualified tradespeople that work at JRS, they earn over $100,000 a year. So the base wage is $100,000 plus super. We've actually just now introduced a pilot to change to a 4-day week. So 4 days on, 4 days off, a rotating cycle, salary, wages. This is all very new for industry, particularly manufacturing, and reasoning behind that, it's hard, heavy work. We don't want to break people physically so early in their working life. How do we best manage that rest, relaxation, repair before coming back into the work environment? 4 days on, 4 days off does that. To earn $100,000 a year in a normal working environment with an hourly rate, Boilermakers have to work 58 hours, but on the 4 days off, 4 days on model and the salary, it's 42. So straight away we're able to pare back the amount of hours that they're actually doing the work. So going back to that resilience piece and body parts, standing on concrete floors for 12 hours, taking in all the ergonomics that exist there, and also maximise time spent with family, doing the things you love. The amount of young people that go and shoot pigs on the weekend is just phenomenal. I've never seen so many selfies with pigs. Like, it's just insane. Letting people be able to go and enjoy that fishing, whatever it is that they love doing, they're able to do it over that 4-day period, maximise that balance, and then coming to work engaged and excited and ready to continually innovate. So Skills Academy was the conduit, the connection point into what the next generation wanted, what our current generation needs, the people who work for us now, and that legacy generation, the benefits that they've seen from what they've done, and the things that have been really hard for them that they wish were different. We have a work experience program that has launched this year that will start engagement from June to November. And that work experience program is project-based. Lauren, make sure I don't talk too much, because I've just realised there's a time thing. So yeah, I will go forever, so stop me. And the work experience program, it has been built from the reality of work experience and coming into an industry organisation. There isn't a lot of time to manage that from a business perspective. So where's the value for the young person? Come in, sweep the floor, make the brews. We want to be able to burn wire. We want you to be able to look at a drawing, break down the parts, understand how to read that drawing, cut and supply all those parts, and then understand how that goes together and mock that out, fabricate it, burn wire, weld it, smell it. All these things are really important to the actual practical application of doing the job. And how do you commit to the 4 years if you've never been able to go and do that? So the work experience program is open to anyone, any job seeker in a training environment. So they might be at TAFE, they might be in a program with a local a training organisation, they might be in school, and that engagement piece is an opportunity for them to come into JRS. It's for a physical week that you do the project. It's with mentors, so we have JRS employees that come out and mentor for the program and work really closely with the work experience teams and impart knowledge and wisdom and opportunities on those young people or job seekers. And the week beforehand, they're given the package so that they're able to go home and discuss it with family or partners and say, look, this is what I'm building. This is it's going to be its journey. The work experience programs for the next 6 months with Orange Sky Laundry, so a social endeavour who provide laundry services to homeless people. We'll be building laundry pods that will go out and actually have a social enterprise life. And the people in the work experience programs will be doing that. And so not only are they getting that value piece around, oh, I'm building it, I'm burning the wire, I'm smelling it. Also, I know what I'm building is going to go out and make other people's lives better and create value for those who need it. And I think that's a really big personal value piece. And quite often, and it's a bit of I'm going off track here, but when we talk about depression and how hard it is to deal with life because it does throw challenges at us all the time, part of believing in value in yourself is putting value with others, and I think that creates that journey and starts that process. So the work experience program is currently being delivered across boilermaking, which is our core business, But the Skills Academy itself will actually start to deliver across many other apprenticeship programs. So CNC machining and manual fitting and turning will be another one. We're actually creating a dual apprenticeship, so you can be a boilermaker and then do an extra 12 months in your apprenticeship and be a CNC machiner as well. So creating a greater value for the individual where they can move horizontally in our business, which is a fantastic thing from a business perspective, but also the individual has greater value out in industry as well. So more opportunity and greater challenges, which is a great thing for every human. We're also, and this environment, the skills environment, has been built with a collaboration, as Jen was saying, big on collaborating. We're not an RTO. Skills Academy is not an RTO. It is the conduit between the RTO and the industry. We needed to create that, so we had a business incentivised model, because at the end of the day, when you run a business, you have to have that incentivisation in there. But we also wanted it to be human-centred and human-focused. So being able to create that conduit, we've got TAFE Queensland, an MOU with TAFE Queensland, Aviation Australia and also Well Australia to start to create a best-in-class application, working with those entities who know and deliver really well, and doing it all within JRS. So every individual who's part of Skills Academy, every candidate is inside the organisation constantly for their training, which is the business aspect. I don't want to have 15 apprentices who all go to TAFE for a 3-week block all at once or within staggered periods, because they're my workforce. And the way that we're training is different to the way that you would normally train an apprentice. So initially you would, see, I've talked too long and it's turned off. Oh, did I break it? No, I didn't break it. How do I go back? Touch all the things. There we go. Thanks, Jen. So where was I? The conduit there and that ecosystem is driven back inside JRS and within our supply chain. So we're also sharing our people, so they're seeing other businesses and other opportunities. And we've got Aviation Australia on board to be able to provide aircraft surface finishing, which is important for our aerospace sector and that market that we work in, and also working with Aviation Australia and TAFE Queensland and global bodies to start new apprenticeship models in electroplating and special processing. So that actually doesn't have a capability in Australia from a training model perspective, nor do we have a very strong capability from a knowledge perspective. And if we're going to build aerospace in Queensland specifically, and then more broadly across the nation, we need to have a competent supply chain. Part of that is the actual commodity itself, the equipment and so on, but the biggest part is around the knowledge and the skills, and how can we build that for the future so that we continue to grow that market and we continue to benefit from it, as a community. So building new training models and putting those online, and then also looking at industrial coatings capabilities. That actually, once again, doesn't have a Queensland model, so building that model, and these are all done under the MOU, so they're not owned by JRS. One of our big parts around Skills Academy was about being able to knowledge share. So we didn't want to build the training model and then not let anyone else have a go at that. Other businesses should be able to employ apprentices under that training model within TAFE Queensland and Aviation Australia, and be able to benefit from us bringing that in. So there is so much to talk about with Skills Academy. There are employment pathways. So we have current customers who also do what we do, but on a smaller scale, and we wanted to be able to offer them a highly skilled individual, great quality workmanship. There's leadership that's embedded inside of them, because that's how we operate as a business, and an employment pathway for them. So not everyone who comes through Skills Academy necessarily wants to stay at JRS. We understand that, and so having an employment pathway that to another organisation that has a values match and a philosophies match is a really critical part of our duty of care, I believe. I don't want to release someone out into industry and they end up being employed by an organisation that doesn't care for them. I think the important part, if we're going to train them and we're going to offer additional opportunities, that we do that through employment partnerships. So another great example of that is we're in partnership with Boeing around the ATS program, and we're now building a model with Boeing. So if a young person comes in and does an electroplating apprenticeship or aircraft surface finishing apprenticeship with JRS, they also have the opportunity, if they don't want to stay at our organisation, if they want to be challenged to go into a different environment and learn new things, we're going to create an employment pathway for them so that Boeing knows that they can come to JRS, they're familiar with the product, they understand there's a values match, and that they can get a JRS employee into Boeing, they become a Boeing employee and start this new journey and new challenges. And that's a really exciting new network to be able to open up. And we'll continue to do that with them as we go down our production journey for ATS. So there's lots more to talk about in that space. Is that a question?
Yes, it is.
Hello.
Thank you. So I just asked Jenny there, waiting to leap in and move you on.
Oh, is it?
Sorry.
I was just wondering, wonderful hearing all you're talking, especially family values being included in your presentation. I was just wondering, does JRS have a specific Indigenous intake model or policy that it works to?
So diversity is obviously a really important part of what we're doing, and as the Skills Academy continues to grow, those connection points are really important. So we do have connection into Clontarf and offering opportunities through Clontarf locally, but the diversification point, or when we talk about cohorts and diversity, if we can find an organisation who has an interest in creating pathways for people that they know need pathways, we are open to that connection, whether it's an education portal, whether it's a community group. We're a business, we don't know all the things. And so the engagement piece is about going out and we're having conversations within industry, and we're connected with some people here and some people there. What we want to do is open the doors on that ecosystem so that we're connecting with Indigenous groups, with veteran groups, with females, with refugees, with any sort of cohort who is seeking an opportunity, because that's what JRS Skills Academy is about. It's about opportunity for all. And those who want it and those who want to, and if we can build it to the best care sort of, I would say, ecosystem, and that's what I was talking about before, about those people that come from disadvantaged backgrounds and so on. If we can care for them the best in the Skills Academy, they'll get the greatest transaction out of their journey and do great things for manufacturing industry more broadly. I do realise it's morning tea. I will finish up. Does that answer your question? Yes, we do. Is it your group? I'm not sure. Whereabouts are you from?
I'm with the Australian government.
Okay, so
Perhaps we can talk in the future through treaty, etc.
absolutely, yeah. Well,
that have harness energy, friends and Hutchies, they have specific intake.
yep. And it's important to understand. Sorry, I can't see your name tag. What is your name?
Michael.
Michael. It's important to understand, Michael, that we're not a big organisation. We were 25. At the beginning of the year, 25 team members. We're on a massive growth trajectory. We're now at 52. We have employed that many people in the last 3 months. And so we're not BHP, we're not Hutchies, we are still trying to find the balance between sustaining our growth, planning our growth, ensuring we have the right people to do the job and the resources to employ people effectively. That's why funded positions are really important. Like, I'm seeking funding to be able to take a JRS Skills Academy hat off my head, because I do all the things at JRS, to give it to someone who is best qualified. Like, I've got all the ideas, but I'm not the ongoing executor of this role. And so if I can put someone in a chair who's going to be able to create those connections, who is familiar with those connections out in the community, that's going to be a great thing for Skills Academy. Can I do it from an affordability piece at the moment for my business in the growth phase that we're in? I can't. So that's where, we look at spending government money and how do we spend it well with the best value. I see those types of roles, those types of funded roles as being really important. And I'm still on the journey of finding out whether that's actually a thing or whether I'm smoking something. So not a great reference for this forum, probably. Anyway, I'll quickly cover off on the jobs. Sorry, I'll be very fast. 2 slides. I'll be very quick. So boilermakers, purchasing and procurement, fitting and turning, CNC machinists, robotics, AI technicians, industrial and specialised coding, logistics and export officers. These are the opportunities for our current markets, where we're working every day at the moment. We're employing across all those spaces. They are all either apprenticeship or entry-level roles. None of that is a degree. None of that is highly sophisticated. I can take someone from a bus stop who's breathing and warm, and I can give them an opportunity today. I can't begin to stress that enough. So those percentages of people who aren't working, who are able-bodied, it's not even able-bodied, there's a disability factor in that. We are well situated to take anyone who wants an opportunity to employment today. And then future markets, as I've spoken about, ATS, JRS are a partner with Boeing for the ATS program and the production of that aircraft. We'll be doing fabrication work, so boilermakers will be touching the aircraft, and CNC machining will be touching the aircraft. Surface finishing, as I said, the coating side, they will be touching the aircraft. That's the whole airframe. So the airframe of this aircraft will be built by those here in Toowoomba. It will be coated, it'll be treated, and then manufactured in that assembly sense out of Boeing. So that's a really exciting thing. It's not just JRS, that's our whole supply chain. Everyone who works with JRS in supply chain will get to touch this aircraft. And you can see there we've got the industrial chemists and researchers, so that is about continuing to build the IP and the capability for future, and the aerospace market. Cybersecurity and systems programming, so you know those guys who love looking at computers and doing things. Not my jam, I'm terrible, I break computers generally. Electroplating, we discussed that. Specialised materials handling and logistics, once again, entry-level role, learn the systems, be passionate about data entry and detail. NDE and NDT technicians, and aircraft surface treatment and finishing and parts. Great pathways there for the future, as I said, with opportunities with Boeing. Sorry for taking up so much time. I did warn you. And thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to come and speak to a forum to identify, where we're going and how we can best get together to create opportunities for all the humans that we know who are keen to take them up. I won't ask if there's any questions. So you can all go have morning tea because I can smell it. It smells good.